Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. So one of Blizzard's biggest new games in a long time did not release in 2 countries this week because why? Loot boxes! Yep, you got it. Just when you thought Blizzard did not have enough self-created wounds, up pops that old favorite. So what are we talking about? Diablo Immortal. Of course, it launched this week. It's Blizzard's biggest new game since, is it Overwatch? Really? Have they not had anything? Damn. If I'm wrong, I'm sure y'all will let me know. But regardless, it's their first big game they've had in a while. It's the Do You Guys Not Have Phones game. You know, the one that got booed when it was announced. Great start to that. Well, it did not launch in Belgium and the Netherlands because, well, loot boxes. And both of those countries have banned it. GamesIndustry.biz found a report from a Dutch news outlet Tweakers who quoted a communications manager at Activision Blizzard who cited the current operating conditions in those countries as to why Diablo Immortal did not release there. Weirdly, people in both countries were able to pre-register for the game for a while, but that option was later removed in April after the launch date announcement. So why you gotta tease them like that, Blizzard? Why do you have to do that? In a post on the Diablo Immortal subreddit, there was a support email from Blizzard that confirmed that loot boxes were the reason why Diablo Immortal isn't coming to either country. The post said, the loot boxes in the game are against the law in your country, so unless the gambling restrictions change, the game will not be released in the Netherlands and Belgium. The post went on to say, if you manage to run the game, I cannot guarantee you will not be banned for it. And the wording was a little bit suspect. It was trying to put the blame on the 2 countries for, I guess, forcing Blizzard to put loot boxes in the game. I don't it was a little sketchy. As Reddit user MannyG3 wrote, yep, it's the law's fault. Blizzard has no choice but to put gambling in Diablo. And they included the dreaded clown emoji, the scourge to old people like me everywhere. If somebody responds to me with a clown emoji, I'm like, oh, I know I did something old here. And if you're wondering, loot boxes are definitely a big part of Diablo Immortal, which is a free-to-play mobile game at heart. There is a PC port, but at heart, it's a free-to-play mobile game. In their review, Ars Technica called it a good smartphone game saddled with free-to-play nonsense. They wrote, this game's aggressive sales pitches for microtransactions leave me pessimistic that Activision Blizzard will relent in the weeks to come. This company already went through the Diablo 3 auction house debacle. Oh, I remember that. And wants to do it again. Good luck with that. And Destructoid wrote, like so many mobile projects, there's a good foundation here. I hope executives serving the true final boss, the Lord of Live Service, didn't squander it. So yeah, obviously Belgium and the Netherlands were not feeling this loot box heavy version of Diablo. You might remember both countries banned loot boxes a few years back on the ground that they're too similar to games of chance, and game makers quickly responded. Blizzard stopped sales of loot boxes in Belgium across some games in 2018, shortly after the country banned them. In 2019, EA stopped selling FIFA points for real money in Belgium after, again, they banned that practice. GamesIndustry.biz also noted that lots of companies, not just EA and Blizzard, but Nintendo, Psyonix, Konami also halted sales of loot boxes in both countries in recent years. Activision Blizzard later confirmed to Eurogamer that it did call off the release of Diablo Immortal in both of those countries. A spokesperson said Diablo Immortal will not be available in Belgium or the Netherlands and will not appear on Battle.net or the Belgium and Netherlands app or Google Play stores. They added this is related to the current operating environment for games in those countries. Accordingly, pre-registrations for the game are not accessible in those markets. Now, we should note, these are 2 relatively small countries. Combined, they got a population of about 29 million people. But Blizzard being in the shape that it's in, they're in no position, I feel like, to turn down any business at all. Now, we haven't seen other countries follow suit yet in blocking loot boxes, although there's been discussion about it in the UK, in the US, but so far, really Belgium and the Netherlands are kind of on the forefront of banning loot boxes. Meanwhile, back to Activision Blizzard, you're probably aware of all the controversies around the company, the sexual harassment scandals, the labor disputes, all that stuff. And recently, one shareholder group, the activist SOC Investment Group, urged other shareholders to vote out several of the company's directors. Activision Blizzard's annual meeting is later this month, June 21st. That's when several of their directors will be up for elections, including CEO Bobby Kotick. In a letter, SOC called for Kotick, Brian Kelly, Robert Morgado, Robert Corti, Barry Meyer, and Peter Nolan to be voted out from their positions. The letter says that each director, quote, failed either to recognize that Activision Blizzard for years maintained unsafe workplaces exhibiting frequent and repeated sexual harassment, sexual assault, and gender discrimination, or to appropriately address the company's frat house culture once it was publicly revealed. It adds that it is incumbent to hold these current directors accountable for their multiple failures to act and the resulting reputational harm and declining share price. Share price. Yes. Now, as a part of that scandal too, you might remember that the parents of one Activision Blizzard employee who, and trigger warning here, committed suicide during a company retreat in 2017. Her parents sued the company. They claimed that Activision Blizzard was at least partially responsible for the death of their daughter, Carrie Moynihan. She was a finance manager who took her own life following sexual harassment from her coworkers. Oh, and her boss, because it's great over there. Well, update on that lawsuit. Axios reported that the family dropped that suit last month. No explanation given for why they did so. All right, we'll get to the rest of the stories in just a second, but first, guys, let's talk about Omaha Steaks and story time. It was Memorial Day here in the States last weekend, actually on Monday, and I had some Omaha Steaks. Whew, it saved Memorial Day. I was a champ. I put on the little bacon-wrapped filet mignons, and just all I did, put a little salt and pepper on it on the grill. Perfect. Everybody was like, BG, you killed it. And it's not me that killed it. It was Omaha Steaks. And for dessert, they had the caramel apple tartlets. It was so good. So guys, here's a little gift-giving wisdom from Omaha Steaks. Dads want steaks. And with Father's Day around the corner, there isn't a better gift than Omaha Steaks. There is not. Visit omahasteaks.com, type Roundup in the search bar, order the Dads Want Steaks package. For just $99, this limited time package includes 16 mouth-watering entrees, these guaranteed to love, like smoky, tender, bacon-wrapped filet mignons. That's what I had. It was so good. Gourmet jumbo franks. The kids love those because they don't like steaks. They're into hot dogs. That was great. They're air-chilled boneless chicken breasts. And for a sweet finish, delicious caramel apple tartlets. I can totally vouch for that. They were very, very good. Put a little ice cream on them. And as a special gift for my listeners, when you type Roundup in the search bar and order the Dads Want Steaks package, you'll also get 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. I got those. Also very, very good. Good burgers. They are full of bold, beefy flavor, made from 100% Omaha steaks. Don't wait. Send Dad more than just a gift. Send him an experience he'll love and can share with you. Go to omahasteaks.com, type Roundup into the search bar, and order the Dads Want Steaks package. You'll get 16 entrees and 4 desserts, plus free Omaha Steaks burgers. Thank you to Omaha Steaks. On to the rest of the stories. Some EA leaders are speaking out on the issue of trans rights, despite the company being mum on the issue. Ahead of Pride Month, which started June 1st, Respawn Entertainment GM Vince Zampella tweeted, "Trans rights are human rights. It's as simple as that. Respawn has grown on the principles of diversity, equality, and inclusion and strives to uphold those values. Let's be better humans." Now, Zampella is a big deal at EA. He co-founded Infinity Ward, and Respawn, which he is over, is responsible for big games, Apex Legends, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Titanfall, and Titanfall 2. So him speaking out is a big deal, and he was followed by Lindsay Pearson, franchise creative VP for The Sims, who tweeted, "Women's rights are human rights. Transgender rights are human rights. Maxis and The Sims value diversity, equality, and inclusion in our core, and we strive to bring this to life through our teams and our work. We see you, and we stand with you." So those statements were on May 31st, and they came after a meeting earlier in the day where EA executives again faced questions about why the company wasn't taking public stands on issues like transgender rights and abortion, with some being dismayed by their responses. And again, EA has gone through this in the past. The employees want them to make public statements. EA's like, "We're not really going to touch it." But EA was like, there's always healing circles if y'all want those. An EA spokesperson gave a statement to Kotaku saying, "EA's support for the LGBTQIA+ and trans communities is long-standing and enduring and has been shared widely and publicly." That was a reference to an EA blog post commemorating Pride last year. A recent patch for Elden Ring has made boss duos less aggressive. This was discovered by the YouTuber Illusory Wall, who found that From Software's 1.04 patch for the game reduced the aggressiveness of boss fights where you're facing more than one enemy at once, like the Valiant Gargoyles or the Godskin duo. Illusory Wall found that you're now far less likely to be attacked by multiple boss characters at once when you're fighting them. The number of primary attackers has been reduced. Basically, the secondary bosses will hang back a lot. They're a lot less aggressive. Illusory Wall noted that not every boss duo or group in Elden Ring was affected by those changes. That included the Erdtree Affair duo or the Crucible Knights. So great research by Illusory Wall in finding some of those quiet changes that were made. A longtime Square Enix producer who is responsible for some iconic franchises has retired. We're talking about Shinji Hashimoto, who started at the company in 1995, was brand manager for Final Fantasy and the Kingdom Hearts franchises. So yeah, big deal stuff. He announced his retirement earlier this week, thanking everyone and saying, "During my tenure, I am very grateful to all of you in various fields. From now on, I would like to support you as a Square Enix fan. I'm really thankful to you." Xbox boss Phil Spencer replied with praise, saying, "Hashimoto-san has been a valued partner for many years. I wish him well on his next adventure." As a tribute, Square Enix illustrator Toshiyuki Itana drew a picture of him with a Moogle and a Chocobo. So very cool. We got some info on the cover of Madden 23, and it's John Madden, a lot of John Madden. The Hall of Fame coach and broadcaster died last year, and Madden will honor him with 3 different covers, one commemorating his Super Bowl win, another showing him in his iconic pose with the headset and the telestrator drawing. The other is a tribute to the cover of the first Madden game in 1988. Wow. Madden has been on the cover of the game, most recently in 1999's Madden NFL 2000. Mike Mahar, EA's senior producer for the Madden NFL series, told media members that there are so many ways we're trying to live up to, aspire to the legend that Coach Madden was in our game this year. So very cool. All right, time for a 5-second review. Pass. All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Spellforce 3 Reforced Complete Edition. It's the year 518. The rebellion of the renegade mages, known as the Mage Wars, has been quashed by the Crown. However, it was a Pyrrhic victory. Whole regions have fallen into anarchy, refugees roam the lands in search of shelter, and a mysterious deadly plague called the Bloodburn has arisen and is spreading rapidly. The Spellforce 3 Reforced Complete Edition offers 60 hours spanned over 3 story campaigns. It consists of Spellforce 3 Reforced, Spellforce 3 Reforced Soul Harvest, and Spellforce 3 Reforced Fallen God. It comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One June 7th. The Cycle Frontier is a free-to-play PvPvE extraction shooter driven by suspense and danger. Prospect for resources and other riches on an abandoned alien world ravaged by a deadly storm, inhabited by monsters, and frequently raided by other ambitious prospectors. Comes to PC June 8th. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. 5 years after the events of the award-winning original, the Sith are on the verge of crushing the Old Republic. As a lone Jedi, will you follow the light side or succumb to the dark? Comes to the Switch June 8th. Green Hell VR. Follow the story of Jake Higgins, a famous anthropologist who is thrown deep into the emerald and impenetrable Amazonian rainforest, the Green Hell. What you discover will be worse than what you fought so hard against to survive. Find yourself stranded in a dangerous jungle surrounded by predators with only a trusty smartwatch, backpack, and the survival guide, so craft away. With mechanics adjusted to virtual reality, Green Hell VR Quest Edition is a truly immersive and demanding game. It comes to Steam VR June 9th. Mad Shot is a fast-paced, acrobatic roguelike shooter. Survive the ever-changing road through Cthulhu and beyond. Equip endless upgrade combinations as you fight your way through horrific monsters and multi-phase boss battles. Comes to PC June 9th. Postal Brain Damage is a new action-oriented take on the Running with Scissors cult game series with throwback graphics and fast-paced modern gameplay. Take a wild roller coaster ride through the twisted wonderland encased in the Postal Dude's messed up mind. Comes to PC June 9th. Pro Cycling Manager 2022 makes you a sport director. Make all the decisions necessary to take your team to the top. Your responsibilities include recruitment, planning objectives and race programs, sponsor management, scouting future talent, training, race strategy, and much, much more. Comes to PC June 9th. And Tour de France 2022. Fight for the yellow jersey in the official game of the Tour de France 2022. Experience new online mode with weekly challenges and leaderboards. In solo mode, you can now deal with incidents like injuries, illnesses, I assume doping scandals during the 92 stages. Comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One June 9th. The Quarry, when the sun goes down on the last night of summer camp, 9 teenage counselors are plunged into an unpredictable night of horror. The only thing worse than the blood-drenched locals and creatures hunting them are the unimaginable choices you must make to help them survive. It comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One June 10th. And finally, Mario Strikers Battle League. Tackle, pass, and score in battle soccer with the Mushroom Kingdom gang. Introducing Mario Strikers Battle League, a 5-on-5 soccer-like sport with no rules. Do whatever it takes to win. Get gritty and try to score the most goals by tackling enemies, using items, and pulling off score-boosting special shots. Super Mario series mainstays like Peach, Toad, and Yoshi put on their cleats in the pitch and will stop at nothing to score. Customize your character with gear that can augment their stats and appearance. Take the carnage online or pass the ball to players locally. Just look out for the electric fence. Don't whiz on it either. Comes to Switch June 10th. That's all I got for you this week, guys. I hope you're having a great weekend. We will see you soon.